Hello and welcome to Zeta's Chivalry 2 survival runs. Today's map is Escape from Falmire, and I'm playing with the requested weapon, the pole hammer. The pole hammer, to be honest, it feels like it's a bit lacking in terms of range as compared to halberd, for example. And especially this is evident when doing side swings, because as you know, all pole weapons do have limited range when doing side swings. Any two-handed weapon does it better than pole weapons. Without further ado, let's comment the run itself. So this is Falmire, and I'm already quite low on health. Somebody threw a knife in my back, and also, a lot of damage done by teammates as well. So this is, now they see, what the hell is this? So things happen when you play with other people. For some reason, this guy just decided to hit me. I just remember himself, and I thought maybe if he will be down, I will not pick him up. That's as much as I can do. But it's okay. It's a level 1000 player. For some reason, trolling a bit. Not sure why. Maybe he feels like I took away his kills. Not sure. Anyway, so full weapon actually is quite good when doing overhits and stabs, as it is with halberd. So that already means that it's best used in formation, so when your sides are covered by teammates. So with swings you would actually hit your teammates, but with overheads and stabs that is not an issue. Well, it is still an issue, but not as that much. So you can stay in the front line and still hack people with your overheads and also help your teammates. So this is probably the best way to describe how to use this weapon. It's similar to a spear, or closely related to halberd. But yeah, it does deliver additional damage amplification towards armored opponents as compared to spear, for example, or even with halberd. Halberd does some armor damage amplification, but not as much. Again, a reminder, armor amplification, it doesn't mean that in this game there is such thing called armor. No, the classes that the knight and has the highest health boost compared to other classes, as well as footman, has a smaller boost, probably half as big, and then that's how armor is quote-unquote being depicted in this game. So in a sense, the more armored class, the more HP it has. There's absolutely no armor whatsoever, so you can take any weapon and you will damage anybody with as much, any class with as much damage would be given to them. For example, if you take a bladed weapon, a longsword, and you do a side swing, then you would deliver 40 damage to any class. It does not matter, what armor they're wearing. So again, in this game, armor is depicted differently than, you would think, not counterintuitively. But again, I'm not saying it's, a correct call or not, but just that's how it is, and we grow to like this game the way it is. So there you go. Now again, my few hits did not land on the enemy, and this is because I'm always complaining, and that's usually what gets me. So whenever teammates do swing before me, an enemy blocks, and this does a counter or riposte, then what happens is that enemy for some brief moment has active parry. Active parry means that it's they can actually block any incoming damage, and usually it's 360. So probably not, that does not work against arrows. Probably, I'm not sure. I have to test it actually. But you can counter arrows too, by the way, if you did not know. Very hard technique, requires immaculate timing, and probably not really useful anyway. Because if archers are hitting you, then you are in the wrong position. So yeah, by the way, a riposte and counters can deliver active parry even if enemy is being hit by a friendly with his fists. So yeah, have this in mind. Whenever attacking, just have a look. If your hit is not landing, then immediately you have to press block, or else you will be hit by the enemy's counter attack. So you can hit him quicker, but still not deliver any damage due to that active parry, what I feel 360 defense. This is why I'm complaining always and ranting about teammates giving active parries, because when I do, I try not to give active parries, but actually do different drags and also sometimes intentionally missing the enemy just so I would not give them the opportunity to have active parry. But this is not the case with most of the teammates. They just hack and, you know, hope for the best. Yeah, so that's what I'm ranting. That my hit, even though it was very good, it was very timely. But again, enemy is active parry as invincibility, and I'm unable to hit him. So yeah, that's why I'm not always happy with how teammates engaging the fight. So formation fighting has its own set of problems whenever teammates are just using left mouse button and spamming it. Well, this weapon is different, so you don't spam left mouse button. You actually have to do overheads and stabs. So again, it's very good in formation fighting, not very good in one against many, for the purpose that if enemy is behind you and in front of you, so it's really hard to hit two enemies at once. So you always have to go with heavy swings, otherwise your hits would not go through the enemy. And that means that you actually lose active parry too. So yeah, those small things you have to get used to when, you know, with the spell hammer. But you know, in choke points and formation fighting, when your sides are actually occupied by friendlies, it's quite good. So no problem then. So again, not very proficient with this weapon. Seems like can't handle the range. For some reason the skirmisher decided to go down. Really bad decision for him, and he pays with his life for it. Now on to the third stage of this map, where we have to free the peasants from the cages. It's quite, well, it's possible to defend on this stage, but it's not that frequent that this happens. Again, sometimes offensive team enjoys sort of a more, how to say, a more stacked teams. The reason is, folks, just defending is not sometimes as fun. Not on all servers actually. So I think if this server would have more siege weapons, like ballista, even for example on the stage, I mean, if you have a wall, you know, a fortification, it would be, why don't have ballista? So that doesn't make sense, does it? So if you would have ballista on the second stage, the defending team would probably enjoy more players. At least I would find it funnier to play defensive team that way. But it's still possible to play here and enjoy defensive team, except the only difference is that if attacking team is winning the objective, then it can stay on the objective and move forward. And for defensive player, if you want to do survival runs, then you have to retreat earlier than anticipated, otherwise you won't have a chance to go back into your friendly lines, or sometimes going into friendly lines is completely impossible due to map design. So you have to do forward spawn. That means you have to hide somewhere and wait for map to deliver you the countdown to be able to spawn further. So again, some hacking and slashing here and there. Won a duel against a one-handed weapon, a guy who was really close next to me. It's not a big issue. This weapon has a, you know, it's quite fast again if you do acceleration, so that's not an issue. An overhead, light overhead delivers 75 damage for armored opponent, and over 100 to a, you know, with heavy overhead. Also, by the way, you can insta-kill an archer if you do the special attack from standing position with this weapon. So it delivers 100 damage flat without, if you don't, you know, acknowledge any damage amplification for armored opponents, so 100 damage. And for knight it would do, of course, plus 50%, 150 damage. So this is probably another very damaging weapon if you use Q. So in terms of raw damage, it delivers same damage as Vanguard's with Greatsword, the leaping attack, you know, with the charging and then the leaping. Yeah, so but that's all with Greatsword, and with armor amplification it delivers even more. So there you go. It's a good, very good, you know, moveset to master. Of course, hitting and landing requires a bit of training. It's not that easy. Same like with Maul, it's not that easy to, you know, land those special attacks. Even though they are really overpowered, they can kill any class except for Vanguard in one hit. With this weapon, it's different. So you cannot even kill an archer. Oh, sorry, you cannot even kill a knight, but you can kill an archer, so that's how it is. So if you sneak up the archer, you can actually do the Q attack, and if you land it, then archer will be dead. So that's a plus. I always like weapons that have at least something that can insta-kill an archer. Because usually archers and crossbowmen, they're not very mobile, and if you get there from their behinds, then they don't react quickly enough and then receive the fatal blow. And that's it. There are no more dancing. There are no more taking out a secondary weapon and defending. This is why I like weapons that can insta-shot archer. At least one way. If it can do in few ways, so that's even better. Like greatsword, for example, there are I think 3 moves that you can insta-kill an archer immediately. So that's leaping attack, charging attack from standing position, and then the heavy overhead. So those 3 attacks can insta-kill an archer. So that's why I play primarily greatsword. Yeah, actually it was the same issue with in Chivalry 1. Yeah, if you get to the archer, then he's dead. But of course, archers usually back then were quite good at defending. At least when I joined, the number of players, the experienced players, were quite high. So yeah, it was quite a curve to climb, but then managed to do that too. Also, like my specialty move here is charge kick overhead combo. So in Chivalry 1 was about different a bit. So there was a class, I think Man at Arms, that was very quick and the only one in game that had dash. So against this class, if I landed the overhead, then I did not do anything, just kicked, and that would be sufficient. Because overhead delivers like 98 damage, and that class had 100 HP. So a kick was sufficient to kill him. So yeah, things like that. Sorry, just remember that and just wanted to share. Okay, so back to our current penultimate objective. So it means we have to free the champion. Now, I'm also looking always at my score, and the reason is I'm quite close, but not quite on the top. So, if you know, only the first place receives ability to play, or actually cancel, Hero Thorn. So Hero Thorn is incredibly powerful. I think HP wise it's something like Algan, but he does not have the special Algan sword. So it cannot as easily cleave through the enemies just because it lacks that particular thing, the Algan sword. That is sort of a small issue, but not a big one. HP pool is more important, and I feel that ability for your attack to be cancelled upon hit is even more important for the hero. So yeah, that's why it's not a problem to play with Thorn, even if you don't have Algan sword. You won't kill as many people, but it is still can deliver a lot of damage. But you have to have a proper weapon. For example, pole hammer is not a good weapon for going alone against 5. And the disclaimer, I will be Thorn in this hero, although I will not be first on the scoreboard. So yeah, so I threw my barrel twice into the enemy and landed 2 hits, but not the third one, unfortunately, because the enemy just went back. So normal barrel throw delivers 50 damage, but if you accumulate for the height distance, it can deliver more. Also, if you sort of throw it too far, it can break, so FYI. Now going from behind the enemies and just checking the consistency of their armor with my hammer. So again, even heavy hits can go through friendlies and enemies alike. Again, you saw that my side swing did not land on the enemy. Again, always I am caught off guard that this particular attack, the swings are not very good in terms of range. Not damage, but just range. Also did not land my stab, and unfortunately with the swing I managed to hit teammate and he was knocked. I heard that the enemy is following me, so I decided to turn back and deliver a hit. But that did not work, because enemy just decided not to pursue. For some reason enemy is coming here, he blocked once, but decided to stop midway and start dueling. Again, I'm okay dueler, not the great. So I'm probably a lower third of the dueling community. I'm not saying I'm participating there a lot, but I have a few duels here. Of course, they're hectic. I really have a lot of things to consider, like other enemies, friendlies, and so on. So yeah, like here too, there were like 4 friendlies, so I had to ensure that I'm not hitting them and hitting the enemy instead. Here too, also healing people. I see I'm actually close to the first place and decide to spam my special ability of healing bandages, and I received around 200 points. 1 for reviving and then healing, so that's 100 point, and then 50 point each for healing. So yeah, but that was not enough. I'm still not first. So I see, and there is first place that actually have to decide whether he wants to play this or not. And for some reason he doesn't want to play. Not sure why, but that's his decision. I didn't ask him, then that's how it happened. Anyway, that will be helpful for me. But again, this weapon is not the best when fighting 1 against many. And as a Thorn, I really usually enjoy going in, heavy, and then just smashing all the enemies around, just because I can abuse the amount of HP, and also the hero has. Also the fact that my attacks are not cancelled if I'm hit. So small things, but quite important. So if you play Hero Thorn, you should not stay back. You just go in there and should slaughter everybody. That's how it is. Staying back is not the way for hero class. Same for Argon. Argon actually even more so. In both maps actually. In Take and Trine. So yeah, you see I'm trying to be quite close to the front line. Because I can use, again, you see the side swing almost did nothing to me. So because I'm very, healthy. But there is one thing, I know everybody wants to heal, but unfortunately hero does not have a priority here in this queue for the healing. So I tried that, and that's it, it's gone. So I have a chance to go there in the, small shack. There is also ammo crate there, and I can get my bandage there. And now folks are trying to block me in, but again, that's not a problem. Just kick them away, and that should work. Really not sure how that landed, but it was very nice. A nice special attack strike on the enemy. You saw that was a subclass of Vanguard. And now they are basically, was hit for 100 damage. That's not insta-kill, but this time it worked. So again, my side swing was not as good as enemy's side swing with the maul. So yeah, look at that. A complete carnage, but I can be in the front just because I have a lot of HP. I'm also put on fire, but again, that's not a problem. So I'm not even halfway through burning my life. That's okay. See, for some reason one ambusher decides to have a go at me, but that was really stupid engagement. Because I know where to heal on this map. So I can instantly go back full health. Again, for some reason this hit did not land. It's not always landing as much as I anticipated it should. But that's okay. Maybe, again, I'm not very good with this weapon. But I know the Chivalry 2 mechanic usually in the fight, so that's why, I'm able to score a lot of kills even with actually any weapon. So the fruits ran out, and I need to gather more health before proceeding forward. And I'm being asked by fellow teammates why I'm not proceeding forward. But there is a reason why. I just want to have a go and with more carnage. And for more carnage, I need more HP. That's it. So Archer again stood there and took my healing. There is no priority here in the queue, but that's fine. I see there is no hanging item on the left side next to the ammo crate. So it's safe for me to go and pick it up. So yeah, enemy died. For some reason he decided to charge me from the side of my spawn, but that's okay. I heard him, I saw him, and I killed him. And now this, you know, ammo crate is also gone. So not very lucky with ammo crates. 105 with heavy overhead, very good damage. Now when enemy stands really close to you, like literally in your face, you can use swings, but just a bit further and you won't be able to. So small things, but you have to consider that this weapon is not made for swings. At least in this game, it's not portrayed as such. Now I see it's a ways open for me to go to the objective. You see, I took a hit in my face and just continued on, because my attack is not cancelled. 48 kills on my tally, so not great, not terrible. I enjoyed the run, and I hope you did too. Thank you for watching, see you next time.